Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, my people. I welcome you into It's Me Kevin channel again. Today we are in Burkina Faso. Ibrahim Traore is doing wonders. After releasing 400 tractors and agriculture equipment to the people, now is bearing fruit. The report 2024 report of agriculture they have released recently, it showed that now Burkina Faso is a self-sufficient in terms of food. And a country without food cannot prosper. The first thing a country to deal with is to be food sufficient, then other development can come later. Let's see this report. We see how Burkina Faso has made it. And other country can learn from this Burkina Faso leader.
On behalf of the Ministry of Agriculture, Animal and Alimentary Resources, the Council adopted 3 reports. The first report concerns the decree on the special status of the state-owned company named FO which was created in the Council of Ministers on November 20th, following the nationalization of the company SOPAM. This aims to equip this new company with the necessary governance bodies for its proper functioning. The second report relates, of course, to the decree adopting the special status of the company facing calm, which was also created during the Council of Ministers on November 20th. This decree aims to provide this new state company with the necessary organs for its proper functioning, including the Board of Directors. The third report concerns the provisional results of the 2024 wet agricultural campaign, and we had the opportunity to report, after the efforts made by the government, the results that were obtained following this agricultural campaign. It should be noted that this campaign took place in a context marked by normal to excessive rainfall in some parts of the territory, and we note across our territory rainfall varying between 491 mm and 1710 mm in some places. This rainfall, of course, in addition to other production factors, allowed for quite significant production during this agricultural campaign. The campaign also took place in a context marked by a paradigm shift among all the actors, whether the actors, the producers, who understood the vision of His Excellency, the President of the FO, who committed themselves, who cultivated areas that had not been for several years, and who also followed the advice of various technical support actors to achieve optimum results. The actors at the central level, that is to say, at the Ministry of Agriculture, Animal and Alimentary Resources, also understood and changed their paradigm, swapped their city attire for campaign clothes and boots, and stormed the fields to allow this production to be significant during this campaign. To all these elements, we must add the context, also marked by significant support from the state. You followed the substantial quantity of around 62,000 tons of fertilizers that were made available to the producers, the agricultural mechanization brigades that were set up at the level of each commune to allow free ploughing for the benefit of the populations. There were also developments that were carried out exceptionally, either in collaboration with the producers, but also with the support of companies, and all these factors allowed for quite unprecedented results for this wet agricultural campaign. The campaign certainly presents a surplus result, and compared to the last campaign, we have an increase of nearly 900,000 tons of cereals regarding the cereal balance. The 2023 campaign had a result of 5,147,000 tons of cereals produced on our territory, and this year during the present wet agricultural campaign, we have a production that is estimated at about 6,170,000 tons of cereals. This is truly important and represents an increase of nearly 18.07% compared to the previous campaign and 21.4% compared to the average of the campaigns of the last 5 years for the balance related to crops that are quite important for our country, particularly rice and corn, which are major consumption products. It should be noted that we have had a substantial increase in results at this level compared to previous years for exceptionally rice, we are at a growth rate of nearly 33% compared to the quantity of rice produced in 2023, which was about 500,000 tons, and this year we are at 675,000 tons of rice that were produced on our territory. This quantity remains, of course, insufficient compared to the national consumption, which is around 1 million tons, and the challenges and issues at this level have been taken into account by the government, which has also given instructions regarding corn. We have moved from over 1,100,000 tons in 2023 to 2,377,000 tons for the year 2024, representing an increase of more than 300,000 tons, about 400,000 tons in terms of corn, and this production entirely covers Burkina Faso's needs in terms of consumption, both for human consumption and animal consumption, and for corn. We therefore expect a substantial decrease in the cost of corn on the ground concerning other food crops, notably Voanzu liam, sweet potatoes. We also have a substantial increase that goes from 16.46% against the production of 2023 and about 34.49% for the production of the average of the last 5 years for other cash crops. We have an annual production this year that is around 1,181,797 tons, and this represents an increase of 11.17% compared to the production of 2023 and 21.14% compared to the production of the average of the last 5 years. The overall cereal balance presented is in any case positive for the most part of our regions. We have 4 regions that are deficient, a region that is in balance, and 8 regions that are surplus for the 4 deficient regions. It is the region of the north, the region of the Sahel, the region of the center-north, and the region of the center. We have 8 surplus regions at the level of which production has been quite sufficient. The defense and security forces have also taken measures to allow the populations to harvest, and I think that the harvests made at this level will allow to balance the entire national territory in the face of this production, which is quite significant, and to guarantee a level of prices that is accessible to all consumers. A number of measures have been taken by the government, notably to facilitate the harvests. There has been support in harvest materials. There has also been support in storage infrastructure. There has been support in processing units. The most recent support has been the donation last week of optical sorters for the benefit of rice processors to allow not only the production to be significant, but also of quality for the benefit of our consumers. There are also conservative measures that have been taken to avoid the exit of cereals. I want proof of the interministerial communiqué that was signed to purely and simply ban the exit of cereals, and the government has instructed that strong measures be taken in collaboration with the Ministry of Security so that the provisions of this communiqué can be respected and avoid the speculation that is already observed on the ground through certain actors who constitute stocks for the time being to release them and increase prices to proceed with their sale. The prospects for 2025 are, of course, already during this year the dry campaign, which is ongoing with a particular emphasis placed on the production of wheat. We are today at a level of 1,022 hectares of wheat already sown across the national territory, and sowing continues in some parts of the territory. The same accompaniment was continued in favor of the producers, notably in terms of free ploughing, in terms of subventioned seeds, to allow the production in dry campaign to further increase the level of production across the national territory. All this production also benefits the breeders because the residues here of agricultural production and the harvest, whether it is millet, corn, and all the other speculations, serve as fodder for the breeders. We have at this level also an increase of nearly 1 million tons, because in 2023 we were at around 8,700,000 tons of dry matter for the breeders, and this year we find ourselves at a rate of nearly 9,900,000 tons for the same breeders. This, of course, justifies a quite substantial increase, and for the quite difficult periods that are going to arrive, notably the period from February to March, until May, it is planned that agro-industrial byproducts can be used to fill the deficit, of course, which has been observed. Despite this very high production, the Council has instructed, of course, to take a number of strong measures to ensure that this unprecedented production of this agricultural campaign can really benefit our country. It is a matter of instructing the Sargesi so that the stores be set up at the level of each commune to absorb the surplus production that is made at the level of these different communes and guarantee a mastery of prices and avoid speculation in order to make equalization at the most difficult times. It has also been instructed to reinforce the control of prices through, of course, the Ministry of Trade, and to reinforce the surveillance at the borders with the collaboration of the defense and security forces to avoid the exits of cereals. It has also been instructed that a convention can be negotiated with our partners, the countries of the AES, in the framework of our companies in charge of stock management, so that exchanges and sales of stock can be made from state to state through the institutions that are mandated in this respect, and avoid abusive exits of stock in favor of one or the other of the countries. It has also been instructed, of course, to provide the SAGESE with the necessary means to enable it to fully play its role and ensure a significant conservation of these stocks throughout the year while waiting for the wet campaign to come. It has also been recommended to set up with the SAGES a mechanism that will allow for all the cash crops to make significant acquisitions to avoid the exits of products from this culture there and allow all the industries established on our territory to benefit from it and to be able to guarantee a level of prices that is profitable throughout the year while waiting for the next AG campaign. Another facet of the information in Burkina Faso.